Hello listeners and welcome back. Today we are going to be discussing movie endings Blackout Edition Part 2. Part 1 of this video is linked in the description below, so if you don't see some of your favorite Blackout endings included in this list, I suggest checking out Part 1 as they may be included in that video. Movie endings are really important as the last shot you see gives off the final impression of the film. Depending on that final shot, it can set on how you perceive the entirety of the film. What makes a good blackout ending? Most effective endings is when they struck you with a feeling, but therefore gives them a memorable impact. Whether it leaves you feeling happy, blindsided, giving you a different perspective on things, or brings you back to the underlying theme and tone of the film. All of these are key when making a good, memorable blackout ending. This list is going to take place in no particular order. However, a spoiler warning is given as we'll be looking at the endings of these movies and may need to explain the plots of them. Now let's take a look at some of the best, underrated, meaningful blackout movie endings. First on this list, let's talk about Limitless. We watch Eddie go from a nobody to one of the most successful people in New York City with the help of a special drug. This leaves you wondering throughout the film how he's going to be able to sustain his new abilities permanently with his effortless of being able to speak fluent Chinese. And the smug grin he gives right before the movie cuts to black only solidifies people's suspicions that he has perfected the drug. It can either leave you stunned or surprised wondering how he did it, or it could leave you feeling happy for the character and wondering what journeys he has moving forward. All of these unanswered questions and that subtle final look sure leaves it as a memorable blackout ending.
What?
Next on this list we have The Maze Runner. This is an underrated but well-deserved blackout movie ending. After watching the long journey of them avoiding monsters and escaping this maze, you finally make it out thinking that it is all over. Just as you're starting to feel relieved, you get hit with an intense final message that just stirs up even more questions. It leaves you with a whirlwind of emotions, starting with relief and then intrigue of what's going to happen next. You also feel worried and concerned for the characters after what they have been through and the possibilities of what's to come. Definitely gives you all the emotions you need to get that final, impactful blackout ending.
Time now to begin. Phase 2.
Next on this list, we have the forgotten about Jim Carrey classic Cable Guy. Although other scenes and moments from this movie might stand out more, I would say that the ending is definitely the most impactful. After watching this obsession slowly build for it all just to come to heads at the ending of the film, you finally get the ending you've been waiting for. It's all over. Or so you think. But that is why this movie is included on this list, because that final shot changes everything. The final look that Carrie's character gives at the ending is bone-chilling, just knowing what the look means and everything that is sure to come after. It rattles you knowing that his obsession is just going to continue onto the next person. The knowledge of what's to come next and the shivers you feel with that final look will add to that unforgettable, impactful, bone-chilling ending that is Cable Guy.
Yeah, sure you are!
Picking the mood back up again for our next pick, we have Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift. Not only is this movie one of the most liked in the entirety of the franchise, it also has one of the most memorable and impactful endings. Although Brian's slow motion walk at the end of the first film is very highly up there, it is not considered a blackout ending and therefore could not be included. Tokyo Drift, however, did have a blackout ending, and that's why we're talking about it. What makes Tokyo Drift one of the more memorable and standout endings of the franchise is due to its cliffhanger ending. The movie ends with Dom challenging Sean to a race, as he heard about his connection and closeness with Han. The movie shocks us, however, with an abrupt ending just as race starts, leaving us debating who could have won. Now, if you do follow the franchise, we do get the answer of who won that race. However, if you were following the movies as they were coming out, had to sit on that cliffhanger ending for almost 9 years, wondering if we were ever going to find out who won this race. It creates a build of mystery and curiosity seconds before it ends, making it a perfectly impactful Blackout ending. Next on this list is the very underrated and never talked about Blackout ending from the film Jumanji. And to be clear, I'm referring to the 1995 Robin Williams Jumanji. This is definitely a forgot about Blackout ending, but is still just as impactful. The movie ends with them completing the game and everything going back to the way it was. Alan and Sarah then take it upon themselves to get rid of the game and ensure that no one ever finds and plays it again. So you're made to believe. The final shot we see is two girls walking along a beach hearing the drums of the game. The movie then immediately cuts to black, giving it that open ending. It leaves you worried as you just know what is going to happen next. It leaves you feeling blindsided as you thought that it was all over and done with, only to be shown that it is all going to happen over again. But finally, what solidifies the impactfulness of this ending would have to be the sounding of the drums. The knowledge of what that sound means and what it leads to leaves you stirring in your seat just as the scene cuts to black. Next on this list, we have the ever classic Jerry Maguire. As we all know, Jerry Maguire is packed full of memorable scenes, moments, and quotes. I think the final scene of the movie definitely sits up there as one of the more memorable moments from the film. The movie, of course, ends with Jerry's success, but we still get one final scene before the credits roll. We get a final inspiring message from Jerry's mentor. Once he has said the message, the movie immediately cuts to black, leaving you to reflect on not only the movie, its messages, but the meaning of success. It resets the tone of the movie. It leaves you feeling uplifted, inspired, and most of all motivated, making it a memorable and impactful Blackout ending.
I love my wife. I love my life. And I wish you my kind of success.
If I pass.
Coming up next, let's talk about Planet of the Apes. This movie definitely has a chilling, abrupt cut to black ending. The final shot shows Caesar on top of the tallest tree overlooking the city, after he has just freed himself and the rest of the apes from captivity. The final shot zooms out, establishing the overall feel and atmosphere of the movie. The ending can leave you feeling a little undecided. Do you feel a sense of accomplishment for the characters as they are finally free? Or are you scared or panicked of what this might mean for the outcome of mankind, now that the apes have grown a level of intelligence? This establishment of the atmosphere, unresolved feelings about how you feel about the outcome, leave you questioning what happens next and will it continue, therefore leaving it as a very open and memorable Blackout ending. Next on this list, we're going to be talking about another Christopher Nolan film, but this time we are talking about Tenet. Tenet is a whirlwind of a movie as it is, yet it all seems to come together and make sense in the last few minutes of the film. True perspective and clarity comes to the character within this moment, and for some audience members too. On top of that, he leaves us with some strong, impactful last words. When the movie cuts to black, you are overwhelmed with emotions, whether that be satisfied, stunned, confused, as you process the weight of the movie and what it was all about. And whether you fully comprehended the ending or not, it still didn't take away from it being fully impactful Blackout ending.
Power to change the world.
As I wind down the list, coming in next we have Matrix. Matrix is an impactful movie as it is, and the way it ends just solidifies that fact. In the first installment of the franchise, Neo not only defeats the bad guy, but also unlocks abilities that he and no one else has ever achieved. Then cuts to Neo in a phone booth, giving us a deep final message, before he takes off flying into the sky straight past the camera, immediately then cutting to black. It gives us a conclusive ending, but still leaves us with questions of what could happen next, and will there be more? The movie and final message leaves you reflecting on the impact of the story and overall plot, making it a truly unforgettable movie Blackout ending. And lastly for this list, I had to acknowledge the forgotten about but badass superhero movies Kickass. Kickass is filled with a lot of impactful and jarring moments. And one of these moments has to include the final ending scene. The ending of Kickass tricks us with a sense of hope. You're left to believe that it is all finally over. Frank D'Amico is dead, Dave has hung up his superhero costume, and Mandy's finally being a normal teenager. However, right before it ends, we get one final scene with Chris D'Amico. In this final ending scene, Chris ensures that it is not over and he is coming back as the new and improved supervillain, leaving audiences completely shocked and blindsided. But what makes this scene even more impactful is how it plays out. The classic turn in the chair, a strong, impactful final line. And of course, the action of shooting the gun is epic, big, and powerful. Gives a final shock to the audience, leaving them wondering what it all means, and is overall a strong, finishing final scene, making it an impactful, underrated, epic Blackout ending.
Where do they get a load of me?
That is all for this episode. Did you agree with my choices? What are some Blackout movie endings I should have included? What are some of your favorite cut to black endings on movies? As always, everything we discussed will be linked below along with my socials. Please be sure to like, subscribe and follow. Feel free to leave all your thoughts and comments below. Thanks for listening.